Juwu stood alone in the center of the great stone chamber. 5 elders sat high above her, their gray scales shining in the dim light. Her own purple-tinged scales made her different, always had. Now that difference would cost her everything. "You have broken our oldest law," said Elder Terry, her voice cold and sharp. "You built a device to talk to outsiders." Juwu looked up. The room was filled with other Arduvians, all watching, all with the same gray scales. Not one of them looked like her. Not one of them would help her. "Our people have stayed safe for 1,000 years by keeping to ourselves," Terry continued. "Your machine threatens us all." "I only wanted to learn," Juwu said. Her voice echoed in the quiet room. "There are so many worlds, so many people out there. We could share knowledge, make friends." Silence. The elder's tail slapped against her stone seat. "This thinking is why you are dangerous." Juwu looked at the small device in the center of the room. It had taken her 3 years to build it. A simple communication tool that could reach across space. She was proud of it, even now. "The council has decided," Terry announced. "Juwu, daughter of the 8th clutch, engineer of the 3rd rank, you are no longer Arduvian." A gasp went through the crowd. Exile was rare. So rare that most thought it was just a story to scare children. 2 guards stepped forward. One carried a sharp blade. Juwu trembled but did not run. Running would only make things worse. "Your name is removed from our records," Terry said as the first guard took hold of Juwu's arm. "Your family ties are cut." The second guard used the blade to cut the colored band around Juwu's wrist, the mark of her family line. It fell to the floor. The pain was small, but Juwu felt a deeper hurt inside. "You will be taken to the edge of known space and left there," Terry continued. "You may take only what you can carry in one bag." "Please," Juwu said. She looked around the room, hoping to see just one friendly face. Her clutch mates, her work partners, her teachers, all looked away. "I only wanted to help our people grow." "That is not your choice to make," Terry said. "The path of our people was decided ages ago." The guards pulled Juwu toward the exit. As they passed her workbench, she quickly grabbed a few small tools and parts. If they were sending her away, at least she would have something to work with. 6 hours later, Juwu sat in a small transport ship. Through the window, she could see her home world getting smaller. The beautiful blue-green planet where she had lived all her life was already starting to look like just another star. The guard pilot did not speak to her. To him, she was already gone, already forgotten. "We arrive at Nexus 7 trading post in 20 minutes, he finally said. "Your bag is by the door. Once we land, you will leave and not look back." Juwu clutched her small bag. Inside were basic supplies, her tools, and pieces of her communication device that she had managed to save. The trading post appeared ahead, a massive metal structure spinning slowly in the darkness of space. Hundreds of ships from dozens of worlds moved around it like insects. When the ship docked, the door opened with a hiss. The guard pointed to the exit. "From this moment, you are the nameless one," he said. "You no longer exist to us." Juwu stepped off the ship onto the metal floor of the docking bay. Beings of all shapes and sizes hurried past. Strange smells and sounds filled the air. Before she could turn around, the ship's door closed, and moments later it was gone. She was alone among strangers, in a place she did not know. Everything she had ever been was gone. Juwu took a deep breath. If she was no longer Arduvian, she would have to become something new. 3 weeks on Nexus 7 had taught Juwu many hard lessons. The trading post never slept. Lights stayed bright at all hours, and the noise never stopped. Beings from 100 worlds passed through each day, most looking only at their own business. Juwu sat in a small corner of the lower market, trying to be invisible. Her purple scales made that difficult. Most species stared at her, and those who recognized her as Arduvian kept their distance. Everyone knew Arduvians never left their home world. If one was out here, there must be a bad reason. "Move along, scale skin," a security guard said, poking her with his shock stick. No loitering. Juwu picked up her bag and walked away. She had learned not to argue. The guard watched until she turned the corner, then lost interest. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. The few coins she had earned fixing small devices were gone. She needed work, and soon. "Hey, Purple," a voice called out. It was Mock, a 4-armed trader who ran a repair shop. He was not kind, but he sometimes gave her work. "Get over here." Juwu hurried to his stall. "Yes, sir." "Got a power unit that won't start. Fix it by end of day. I'll give you a meal." Mock pointed to a box of broken parts. Juwu nodded. A meal was better than nothing. She sat on the floor and began sorting through the parts. By midday, she had the power unit working again. Mock looked surprised. "Thought that would take longer," he said. He handed her a container of food paste. "Here, now get lost." Juwu took the food to her hiding spot, a small gap between air ducts in a maintenance tunnel on level 3. It wasn't comfortable, but security rarely checked there. She had collected enough scraps to make a small bed. As she ate, she pulled out her own project. Piece by piece, she was rebuilding her communication device. It would be smaller than the original, but maybe better. Each day she found new parts in the station's trash or traded small repairs for pieces she needed. Well, look what we found," a deep voice said. Juwu looked up. 3 large beings blocked the tunnel entrance. She recognized them, mercenaries who had been watching her for days. Their leader, Drav, was tall with scaly red skin and sharp teeth. "An Arduvian, far from home," Drav said. "Do you know how much the right people would pay for that information?" Juwu quickly packed her device away. "I'm just trying to survive. I'm not worth anything to anyone." "I disagree." Drav moved closer. "Arduvians don't leave their planet, which means you're either a spy or a criminal. Either way, someone will pay." "Please," Juwu said. "I have nothing." "You have yourself," Drav laughed. "And we know collectors who would pay well for a rare specimen like you." Juwu looked for a way out, but they blocked the only exit. Her heart pounded. "We'll be back tomorrow," Drav said, "with friends who specialize in capturing live merchandise. Be ready for a trip." He tossed a small tracking device at her feet. "And don't think about running. That will tell us exactly where you are." After they left, Juwu sat shaking. She couldn't stay here, but where could she go? The station was huge, but not huge enough to hide forever. She looked at the tracker, then at her communication parts. Maybe she could use the tracker's signal to boost her own device. If she could just send a message far enough, maybe. But who would listen? Who would care about one abandoned Arduvian? Juwu picked up her tools. She didn't have answers, but she had work to do. If tomorrow was her last day of freedom, she would spend it doing what she loved, building something that could reach across the stars. She worked through the night, her purple scales reflecting the small light she had rigged from scrap parts, alone but not giving up. Morning came too soon. Juwu had worked all night on her device. It wasn't ready, but she had made progress. Now, she needed to find a new hiding place before Drav and his friends returned. She packed her few belongings and slipped out of the maintenance tunnel. The station was quieter during early hours. She moved quickly, keeping to shadows when possible. Turning down a narrow corridor, Juwu checked a map on the wall. Maybe the cargo bays would offer somewhere to hide. She headed that way, her steps quick and light. "There she is." The shout came from behind her. Drav and 4 others had found her. Juwu ran. Her heart pounded as her feet slapped against the metal floor. She took a quick turn, then another. The sounds of pursuit grew louder. Then she hit a dead end. The corridor ended at a sealed door marked Restricted Area. Juwu turned to face her hunters. Trav smiled, showing sharp teeth. "End of the road, Purple. Our buyer will be here in 3 hours. He's very excited to meet you." "I'm not merchandise," Juwu said, backing against the wall. Everything has a price, one of Drav's friends said, even rare Arduvians. The five of them spread out, blocking any escape. Juwu looked for a weapon, a tool, anything that might help. There was nothing. Don't damage her scales, Drav told the others. They're worth more if she's unmarked. As they moved closer, a new voice called from behind them. 5 against 1 seems unfair. The mercenaries turned. A human stood at the other end of the corridor. She was tall for her species, with short black hair and dark eyes. She wore a simple flight suit with captain's patches. "This isn't your business, human," Drav growled. "Walk away." The human walked forward instead. "I'm Captain Hyunjin Kim of the cargo ship Seoul, and I'm making it my business." Juwu watched in confusion. Why would this human involve herself? "Last warning," Drav said. "This Arduvian is our catch." Hyunjin smiled, but her eyes remained serious. "She doesn't look caught to me. She looks like someone being threatened." She moved closer. "And station rules are clear about threatening people in the corridors." "Rules?" One of the mercenaries laughed. "We don't care about." The human moved faster than Juwu thought possible. In seconds, the mercenary was on the ground, holding his arm and moaning. Hyunjin stood ready, her stance balanced and confident. "Humans," she said calmly, "don't like bullies." Drav pulled out a blade. "You'll regret this." What happened next amazed Juwu. The human fought with a skill and speed that seemed impossible. She didn't just defend herself. She moved like she was protecting the whole corridor, always keeping herself between Juwu and danger. When it was over, Drav and his friends were retreating, some limping, all looking angry. "This isn't finished," Drav called back. "It better be," Hyunjin answered. "Or next time, I'll call station security." When they were gone, the human turned to Juwu. "Are you hurt?" Juwu shook her head, still pressed against the wall. "Why did you help me?" Hyunjin shrugged. "You needed help. I was here." She looked at Juwu more closely. "When did you last eat a proper meal?" "I don't remember," Juwu admitted. "Come on then." Hyunjin gestured for Juwu to follow. "I know a place." Juwu hesitated. "I can't pay you back." "Not asking you to," Hyunjin said, "just offering food." Still cautious, Juwu followed the human through the station to a docking bay. A ship waited there, not large or new, but well kept. The name Seoul was painted on its side. "This is yours?" Juwu asked. "Home and business," Hyunjin said, opening the hatch. "Come inside. Those guys won't find you here." Against all her instincts, Juwu followed the human into the ship. She didn't understand why this stranger would help her. On her world, no one did anything without expecting something in return. Yet something about the human's direct gaze made Juwu believe her. For now, at least, she might be safe. Inside the ship, Juwu sat at a small table while Hyunjin prepared food. The ship was modest but clean. Tools hung neatly on walls. Everything had a place. "It's not fancy," Hyunjin said, placing a bowl of hot soup in front of Juwu. "But it's real food, not station paste." Juwu took a careful sip. The flavors were strange but good. She had not tasted anything this nice since leaving her homeworld. "Thank you," she said quietly. Hyunjin sat across from her with her own bowl. "So, what's your story? Arduvians don't usually leave their planet." Juwu stared at her soup. Should she tell the truth? What if this human reported her to someone? "I was sent away," she finally said. "I built something they didn't like." "Exiled for invention." Hyunjin raised an eyebrow. "What did you make?" "A communication device. To talk with other worlds." Juwu looked up. "They said it would bring danger." Hyunjin nodded. "Your people are very private. But that seems harsh." They finished eating in silence. When they were done, Hyunjin showed Juwu to a small room. "You can sleep here tonight," she said. "It's safer than the corridors." The room was simple, just a bed and storage space, but to Juwoo, it looked like luxury. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. Hyunjin shrugged. "Get some rest. We'll talk more tomorrow." Juwoo slept better than she had in weeks. No noise, no fear of being found. Just quiet and safety. She woke to a loud banging sound. Following the noise, she found Hyunjin in the engine room, hitting a metal box with a wrench. "Stupid regulator," Hyunjin muttered. "Third time this month." "What's wrong with it?" Juwoo asked. Hyunjin looked up in surprise. "Atmospheric regulator. Keeps cutting out. No one can fix it right." Juwoo moved closer. "May I look?" "Be my guest." Hyunjin handed her the wrench. "But I've tried everything." Juwoo examined the device. The design was different from what she knew, but the principles were similar. She opened the control panel and studied the circuitry. "The flow pattern is reversed," she said, "and this connection is loose." She worked quickly, reconnecting wires and adjusting settings. After 20 minutes, she closed the panel and pressed the power button. The machine hummed to life, running smoother than before. Hyunjin stared in amazement. "That's been broken for months. 3 repair shops couldn't fix it." Juwoo smiled for the first time since arriving on the station. "Engineering was my job. Before." "Well, you're good at it." Hyunjin wiped her hands on a cloth. "Really good." They ate breakfast together. Hyunjin explained that she delivered cargo between planets and stations. Business was steady, but she worked alone since her last crew member left. "I need to leave the station today," Hyunjin said. "Got delivery scheduled." Juwoo's heart sank. Back to hiding in corridors. Back to Drav and his friends. "I could use an engineer," Hyunjin continued. "Someone who can keep this old ship running. The pay isn't much, but you get a room and meals." Juwoo looked up in shock. "You're offering me a job?" "You've got skills I need," Hyunjin said simply. "And you need somewhere safe." "Makes sense." Before Juwoo could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. The main screen flashed, showing station security at the docking bay. "Captain Kim," a voice announced. "Open your hatch. We have reports you're harboring a fugitive." Through the camera, Juwoo could see Drav standing behind the security officers, smiling. "They'll take me away," she whispered. Hyunjin stood up straight. "No, they won't." She activated the comm system. "This is Captain Kim. I'm not harboring anyone. I'm with my crew member. The Arduvian is reported stolen property," the officer replied. "She's not property," Hyunjin said firmly. "She's with me now. She's crew." The officer looked uncertain. "Do you claim responsibility for her under Transport Code 47? "I do," Hyunjin said without hesitation. "She's under my protection as crew of the Seol." After a long pause, the officer nodded. "Very well, Captain. But any trouble, and it's on you." When they left, Drav glaring back at the ship, Juwoo turned to Hyunjin in confusion. "What just happened?" "I claimed you as crew," Hyunjin explained. "Under space law, that means I'm responsible for you. It's official now." Juwoo didn't understand why this human would take such a risk for her, but for the first time since her exile, she felt something new. Hope. The Seola left Nexus 7 with a full cargo hold and 2 crew members. As the station shrank behind them, Juwoo watched from the window. She had never thought she would leave that place alive. "First stop is Earth Station 4, Hyunjin said from the pilot's seat. 3 days travel. You okay with that?" Juwoo nodded. She was still getting used to the idea that she was crew now, not a fugitive. "What's Earth like?" "Busy. Green. Full of humans who can't agree on anything." Hyunjin smiled. "Home." During those 3 days, Juwoo learned the ship's systems. The Seol was not new, but Hyunjin kept it clean and working. Still, many parts needed fixing. Juwoo was happy to have real work to do. "You don't have to fix everything at once," Hyunjin said, finding Juwoo working late one night. "I like fixing things," Juwoo replied. It makes me feel useful. Hyunjin watched her work for a moment. Why did your people really send you away? Jiwoo's hands stopped moving. They said my ideas were dangerous. That talking to outsiders would bring trouble. She looked up. But I think the elders were afraid. Afraid that if we spoke to other worlds, we might change. Change is scary, Hyunjin agreed, but necessary. When they reached Earth Station 4, Jiwoo stayed on the ship while Hyunjin delivered the cargo. She wasn't ready to face crowds yet, but through the windows, she could see humans of all types. Tall, short, dark, light, loud, quiet, all different, yet all working together. That night, Jiwoo took out her small communication device. She had been working on it in private, adding parts she found on the ship. But something was wrong with the signal pattern. It kept sending out strange pulses she hadn't programmed. What's that? Hyunjin asked, entering the room. Jiwoo almost hid the device, then stopped herself. My project. From home. I'm trying to rebuild it. Hyunjin sat beside her. Mind if I look? Jiwoo handed it over. Hyunjin examined it carefully. This is advanced work, she said. What does it do? It sends messages farther than normal systems, Jiwoo explained, using less power. But something's wrong with it now. Hyunjin gave it back. Our next stop is Earth. Maybe you can find better parts there. The trip to Earth took 5 days. During that time, Jiwoo made the ship's engines run better, fixed the water recycler, and improved the heating system. The work felt good. But she kept her distance from Hyunjin in other ways. She ate quickly and spoke little at meals. She didn't share personal stories. You don't trust me yet, Hyunjin said one evening. It wasn't a question. I don't understand you, Jiwoo admitted. On my world, no one helps others without wanting something in return. Sounds lonely, Hyunjin replied. When they reached Earth, Jiwoo couldn't stay on the ship. The delivery needed both of them. She followed Hyunjin nervously into a busy spaceport. The noise and colors were overwhelming. Humans of all kinds moved in every direction. Some smiled at her. Others barely noticed her. No one seemed afraid of her purple scales or strange eyes. Are all these people different types of humans? Jiwoo asked, amazed. Hyunjin laughed. Just humans. We come in many shades. On my world, everyone looks the same, Jiwoo said. Except me. They delivered the cargo to a large warehouse. Afterward, Hyunjin took Jiwoo to a market to buy supplies. As they walked, Jiwoo's device began beeping in her pocket. She pulled it out. The strange signal was stronger than ever. Someone's scanning us, she said with sudden fear. This is picking up a tracking signal. Hyunjin looked around carefully. Let's get back to the ship. Now. As they hurried through the crowded streets, Jiwoo felt a cold certainty. Someone was following them. Someone who knew what she was. Her people had found her. They left Earth quickly. Hyunjin pushed the Seoul's engines harder than usual, jumping to 3 different shipping lanes to lose any followers. Our next delivery is to New Hope Colony, Hyunjin explained as they settled into normal speed. Small human settlement on the edge of the system. Medical supplies. Jiwoo nodded, still watching her device. The tracking signal had faded once they left Earth, but she remained worried. They found me once, she said quietly. They'll find me again. We'll deal with that when it happens, Hyunjin replied. For now, we have a job to do. During the journey, Jiwoo noticed Hyunjin checking the ship's weapons systems. The human didn't mention it, but Jiwoo saw the worry in her eyes. 3 days later, they approached New Hope Colony, a small planet with blue oceans and green landmasses. As they drew closer, Hyunjin frowned at the screens. That's strange, she said. No response to our landing request. She tried again. Still nothing. Maybe their comm system is down, Jiwoo suggested. They entered the atmosphere carefully. As they descended toward the main settlement, they saw the problem. Smoke rose from several buildings. Near the landing area, they could see people running. Some carried weapons. Raiders, Hyunjin said, her voice tight with anger. Attacking the colony. She quickly changed course, landing the ship in a hidden valley a mile from the settlement. We should leave, Ju said. This isn't our fight. Hyunjin was already checking her weapon. Those people need help, and they need these medical supplies. But we're just two people, Ju protested. What can we do? What we can, Hyunjin answered simply. She handed Ju a small blaster. Stay here if you want. I won't force you to come. Ju watched in disbelief as Hyunjin loaded the medical supplies into a ground transport. Why risk yourself for strangers? She asked. Hyunjin paused. Because they're people who need help. That's enough reason. After Hyunjin left, Ju paced the ship. The human's words bothered her. On her world, no one helped outsiders. Everyone looked after their own group, their own interests. Yet here was Hyunjin, rushing toward danger to help people she didn't even know. Ju looked at the blaster in her hand, then at her communication device. Maybe there was another way to help. She hurried to the ship's systems and began connecting her device to the main communication array. If she could boost the signal, maybe she could listen to the raiders' communications. Maybe she could do something useful without fighting. For hours, Ju worked and listened. She learned that the raiders were organized. They had jammed the colony's distress signals and planned to steal supplies and take prisoners for ransom. When night fell and Hyunjin hadn't returned, Ju made a decision. She grabbed a toolkit and the blaster and left the ship. The colony was in chaos. Following the sounds of fighting, Ju found a group of colonists defending a large building. Inside, she discovered the wounded being treated. Among them was Hyunjin, unconscious with a bad head wound. She saved our children, a colony woman explained. The raiders attacked the school. She got the children out, but they hurt her badly. Ju felt something twist inside her. This brave, foolish human had risked everything for children she didn't know. I can help, Ju said. I know their communication frequencies, and I can set up defenses. For the next 2 days, Ju worked without rest. She created jammers to block the raiders' signals. She rigged alarms and traps around the colony perimeter. She helped organize the colonists' defense. When Hyunjin finally woke up, she found Ju sleeping in a chair beside her bed, tools still in her hands. You came, Hyunjin said weakly. Ju opened her eyes. You needed help. I thought you said it wasn't your fight. Ju was quiet for a moment. I don't understand why you risked your life for these people. They're not your family. Hyunjin smiled despite her pain. Sometimes family is who you choose, not who you're born to. The words made no sense to Ju. On her world, family was only blood and clutch mates. Yet looking at the human's battered face, she felt something she couldn't name. A connection she'd never experienced before. A week passed before Hyunjin could walk properly again. The raiders had finally left after the colonists fought back. The settlement was damaged but safe. The people treated Hyunjin like a hero and welcomed Ju when they saw how she had helped. We should leave tomorrow, Hyunjin said as they ate dinner in the colony's main hall. If you're done with your projects here. Ju nodded. She had spent the week setting up better defense systems for the colony. The work felt good, useful. I've taught 3 of their people how to maintain everything. That night, back on the Seoul, Ju checked her communication device again. The strange signal had returned, stronger than before. Someone is definitely tracking us, she told Hyunjin. And they're close. They left early the next morning. Hyunjin pushed the engines hard, wanting to reach open space where they could move faster. But they had barely cleared the planet's atmosphere when alarms blared through the ship. We've got company, Hyunjin said, looking at the scanner. Big ship, moving fast. On the screen, a large vessel approached. Ju felt her scales tingle with fear. She recognized that ship design. It's Arduvian, she whispered. A High Council enforcement vessel. The comm system activated. A stern voice filled the bridge. Human vessel Seal. This is Elder Terry of the Arduvian High Council. Prepare to be boarded. Hyunjin looked at Juwoo. Friends of yours. Elder Terry led my exile, Juwoo said, her voice shaking. She's the most powerful person on my world. The Seal shuddered as the larger ship locked on with a tractor beam. They couldn't escape now. What do they want? Hyunjin asked. Me, Juwoo said simply, to silence me forever. The comm activated again. Captain Kim, we know you harbor the exile called Juwoo. Surrender her immediately. Hyunjin pressed the respond button. May I ask why an Arduvian elder is chasing one exiled engineer across the stars? There was a pause before Terry responded. This is an internal Arduvian matter. It does not concern you, human. It concerns me when you're grabbing my ship. Hyunjin replied. And threatening my crew. Another pause. Perhaps we can discuss this properly, with appropriate compensation for your inconvenience. 30 minutes later, Elder Terry stood in the Seal's cargo bay with 4 guards. She was tall, her gray scales gleaming with health and authority, her cold eyes fixed on Juwoo. The nameless one, she said, you have caused much trouble. Juwoo stood straight, though she wanted to hide. I have a name. It's Juwoo. Terry turned to Hyunjin. Human, this exile stole important technology from our world. Her device threatens our security. I built it myself, Juwoo argued, from my own designs. Designs meant for Arduvian use only, Terry snapped. She turned back to Hyunjin. Captain, I offer you 50,000 credits to return this criminal to our custody. Hyunjin's eyebrows went up. That's a lot of money. A small price for peace between our worlds, Terry said smoothly. Juwoo felt sick. 50,000 credits could buy a new ship, maybe 2. Why would Hyunjin refuse? The real reason you want her, Hyunjin said quietly, is because her device would let your people talk to other species directly, without the elders controlling what they hear. Terry's eyes narrowed. You understand nothing of our ways. I understand control when I see it, Hyunjin replied. She turned to look at Juwoo, then back at Terry. Your offer is generous, Elder, but I must decline. Juwoo couldn't believe what she was hearing. You refuse. Terry seemed equally shocked. Hyunjin moved to stand beside Juwoo. I claim her as crew under Galactic Transport Code 47, and under Earth law, she has requested asylum. She is Arduvian property. Terry hissed. She is not property, Hyunjin said firmly. She's a person. She's free to choose her own path. She placed a hand on Juwoo's shoulder. You can't have her. She's family now. The words hung in the air. Family. Juwoo had lost her family when she was exiled. Now this human claimed her as family before the most powerful person from her world. Elder Terry's face darkened with rage. Then you have made an enemy of the Arduvian High Council, human. You've made your choice, Elder Terry said coldly. Now face the consequences. She and her guards returned to their ship. The moment they released the tractor beam, Hyunjin jumped into action. Hold on, she shouted, firing the Seal's engines at full power. The ship shot forward, rocking violently. Juwoo grabbed a support beam to stay upright. They'll follow us, she said. Counting on it, Hyunjin replied, her eyes fixed on the controls. Their ship is bigger but slower. We just need to stay ahead until we reach Waypoint Station. The Arduvian vessel fired a warning shot that passed close to their ship. They're serious, Juwoo said. So am I. Hyunjin's face was set with determination as she guided the ship through a series of tight turns. No one threatens my crew. For 6 hours they raced through space, the larger ship always behind them. At times it fell back, but it never gave up the chase. Finally, a small station appeared ahead. Waypoint Station, Hyunjin explained. Small but important, and run by a friend. They docked quickly. Hyunjin sent a message ahead, and 3 people waited for them inside. Hyunjin, a tall man with gray hair, stepped forward. "What trouble have you brought this time?" "Hello, Jinwoo," Hyunjin said. "We need help. This is Jiwoo, my engineer and friend. The Arduvian High Council wants her back." Jinwoo looked at Jiwoo with interest. "An Arduvian exile. Rare company you keep." 2 others joined them, a woman with short white hair and a younger man with a serious face. "This is Sunny," Hyunjin said, introducing the woman, former military pilot, and Do-yeon, station administrator. "The Arduvian ship is requesting permission to dock," Do-yeon said. "I can deny them for 12 hours at most before they can force the issue." 12 hours will have to do," Hyunjin replied. "We need repairs and a plan." They moved to a private room where Jiwoo explained her story. The 3 humans listened without interrupting. "So your communication device could break the Elder's control," Sunhee said when Jiwoo finished. "No wonder they want you back." "But why help me?" Jiwoo asked, looking at the 3 new humans. "This isn't your fight." Sunhee smiled. Hyunjin called. "That's enough." "I don't understand," Jiwoo said, frustrated. "Why would you all risk yourselves for someone you just met? Someone who isn't even human." "It's what we do," Jinwoo said simply. "But why?" Jiwoo pressed. Sunhee considered the question carefully. "Humans evolved as social creatures who survived by working together. We're hardwired to help each other." "Even non-humans?" Jiwoo asked. "Our circle of concern keeps growing," Sunhee explained. "First family, then tribe, then nation. Now, for many of us, it includes all thinking beings." Do-yeon, who had been quiet, spoke up. "The Arduvians will not stop hunting you. They fear your device could reveal their lies." "Then we need to use it," Hyunjin said, "not just hide." They spent hours planning. Jiwoo worked on her device, connecting it to the station's more powerful systems. With Do-yeon's help, she expanded its range. It could now send messages across vast distances. "If we can broadcast the truth to all Arduvians," Jiwoo explained, "many will question the elders, especially the younger ones. And to do that, we need a network," Hyunjin added. She turned to her friends. "Human trade ships go everywhere. If each carried a small transmitter." Jinwoo nodded. "I can contact at least 20 captains who would help." "That's still not enough," Sunhee said. "The Arduvian system is large." "What about the military?" Hyunjin asked. Sunhee shook her head. "They won't intervene in Arduvian affairs without proof of wider threat." "Then we need that proof," Hyunjin said. She looked at Jiwoo. "Do the elders have other secrets? Things that might concern other species?" Jiwoo thought carefully. They'd been collecting technology from many worlds, studying it secretly, building something, though I never knew what. "That might be enough," Do-yeon said, "if we can prove it." As they talked, the station shook slightly. Do-yeon checked his tablet. "The Arduvians are trying to override our docking controls," he said. "We have less than 2 hours now." Jiwoo looked around at these humans, strangers until today, who now work together to protect her. On her world, such cooperation across family lines was rare. Here, it seemed natural. "Why are you really doing this?" she asked Hyunjin quietly. "Because it's right," Hyunjin answered. "And because you're family now. That means something to humans." Family. The word still felt strange to Jiwoo. But watching these humans work together, she began to understand what it might mean.